visual art project in Ballymun will give people the chance to stay in one of the tower blocks for a night before they're eventually torn down to make way for the continued regeneration of the area.
It was kind of initially a recycling project, which it still is, but it developed into what would actually be recycled. And the idea of even postmodernism of, instead of building new towers, let's look at the ones we have and fill them. When we actually did get to come into the space, it was like this huge leap of faith or something that everybody else they were saying, I hope this is a reality check for you, this is really difficult and it's full and it's filthy but I don't know, it's like when somebody walks in now, they can see the end product and they seem really amazed by it and they think it's fantastic.
First I thought, what's it going to be like? A hotel in a tower block. But then when you come up and see it, it's lovely. The art that's gone into it is unusual. It's different. You'd have to come up and experience a night to stay in it to see what I mean.
But it was so much work just to be able to hold on to a vision that that could happen. So we've cleaned out, we've taken down all the wallpaper, we've taken up floors, everything that was personalised. We've depersonalised the spaces because we don't want to be intrusive about the people who actually lived in these spaces, the actual people. But the furniture, because it's been abandoned, we've mixed it up and we've chosen purely from a design point the furniture that will be used and reworked. So all the furniture that was abandoned throughout the building has been redesigned to furnish a hotel. Seeing people coming out just to visit, it's not particularly the views they're coming to see, and it's not particularly recycled furniture they're coming to see, but it's kind of inverting what was here. It's like instead of going to the National Gallery, they're coming to Clark Tower, but it's the same thing they're coming for. And I think in that transformation there's something, a painting itself mightn't be considered an art object, whereas the hotel, it might be considered an art object in the same way.
My function as receptionist is to greet the people when they arrive, to explain that it is a temporary project. There are people coming and they think they're really booking into a hotel. They know it's not a real hotel, but they're jumping straight into the role as if it was a real hotel, which I think is fascinating. And then there are others who are staying, who are very much staying because it's an art project and it's the art project angle that they're interested in. It's really hitting a lot of different levels for a lot of different people. I think people are invited to look again, and to look again at Ballymun, to look again at their own impression of Ballymun, to look again at spaces that are created for one purpose and become spaces for another.
Just tower block, to me, just signifies no gardens. It just, it's a concrete jungle.
First thing I think of, tower block, flats.
Oh well, sort of bleak and vast and sort of alienating. It has those kind of associations for me.
Height, fear. how tall you are up. Is there a lift? Is there a stairs?
Hotel normally signifies luxury and rest to me.
Pure luxury when you think of a hotel, you know.
Lush carpets and chandeliers.
Holiday experience.
Room service, nice comfortable beds, quiet room, a bar.
I wanted to show these private spaces as being, I mean, people's homes are their palaces, and that's the way it always has been. And people really looked after these spaces, and these spaces are really nice. And we've got people coming in here who are going, you know, the size of these spaces and they're worth a fortune and this and that. And these are the private spaces, so I think in just looking at the spaces themselves, you're kind of dealing with the people who lived here, because they can be filled, and they were filled.
I lived in that one there in Thomas Clark Tower, and I thought the flats were a lot bigger than what the houses are. Now I love my flat, you know what I mean?
We had underfloor heating, which was great because it was so hot when you got out of bed in the mornings. And the fact of the hot running water all the time was brilliant, you know.
Well, I know I used to live in now Thomas McDonagh Tower, and it got demolished when I was in bits. I cried my eyes out when I went, because I lived there for over 30 odd years.
Most of the flats there we had pigeon lofts. Used to keep them, you know, tumblers, grey meat dipped inside the pigeons, you know. Even, actually, my brother used to keep them as well.
The birds did come a lot, and the tower does sway when you get a really bad wind. You do, like your light would kind of shake, you know, because I was on the corner of the flat, the wind whistled around, and you couldn't even open the window, like the curtains would just take flight, and you know. There was disadvantages to urinal in the lift, like it was terrible strong, ammonia smell as you come up, and I mean, you were nearly blue getting out of the lift because, you know, you'd had to hold your breath, like. But there were times when the two lifts were out and it wasn't very pleasant.
Well, in that time now the lifts would be gone, you know, like the lifts we broke down, where you have to carry your messages up the stairs.
From talking to people, I mean, before I didn't know anything about it, but from talking to different people and local people telling me their perspectives, I think it was a lot to do with the breakdown of public space. So the public space that was the lobbies and the lifts and all that, they became areas that were able to be claimed. So they were claimed by people who forced antisocial behaviour or whatever. They just claimed the space.
I came home from work one day and came into the flat, and there was 4 guys in around the shoot area, and they were doing, as they say, shooting up, like, and I never forget the experience I had. And I walked up the hall. The halls are quite long in these towers, you know, and I walked up the hall of my flat, and it was like the Ballymun Road. It was so long that I thought I'd never get to the end of it, and I was shaking. And I rang the guards and I asked them to come over, and you know, the answer I got on the end of the phone was, we don't have a car. And after that, I just really wanted to get out of it, and that was the lid on it for me, you know.
Or I'm told there's a huge argument that these are psychic scars to a lot of people, and I can see why. I mean, there's so many problems and stuff, but they're still part of Irish history and of this community's history, and I think there should be some remnants. I don't think it's healthy just to whitewash a whole period and say it never happened.